Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think kind of on the same same train of thought as that. I want to bring up a tweet that you sent recently. I'm kind
Oh
of
boy.
talking about it's
a
nothing
great
too bad,
tweet.
nothing too bad. Don't worry. But it's just talking about this concept of the family and of Americans, being able to produce things here. And so I'll just go ahead and read it. It said, "quote BlackRock buying up houses, China and Bill Gates buying up farmland. That is not a good future, my friends." I think both of us here totally agree with
Yeah.
that. So it's definitely not any sort of attack on you or anything. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on kind of that tweet. Kind of if you could expand on it, and then why it's important, for us to have these houses and farmland and produce these things in America. You touched on it a little bit with that answer, but if you could just expand a little.
Yeah, totally. Well, historically, at least, middle class, like the path to the middle class has been home ownership. And there's something economically important about that. I think there's something almost spiritually is probably the wrong word, but there's something very important about, it's very American, this idea that you can own a piece of property and you own it. The government doesn't own it. A landlord doesn't own it. Obviously, there's a place for landlords and whatnot, but someone being able to work hard and save and maybe get a mortgage, if not buy the place outright, and you own your piece of property in a family house that you can raise a family in. That's very important. And of course, it's historically been a good way to build home equity, and that's the path to the middle class and a stable retirement. And it just seems now that all these forces of globalization, whether it's China, whether it's BlackRock, whether it's these transnational governance institutions like the World Economic Forum, it seems, and the media is kind of doing all their bidding. You see these seemingly coordinated headlines about how great renting is, right? Home ownership, it turns out, is a drag. You want to be a renter. You want to own nothing and you'll be happy. It really seems like we're being bombarded with this narrative. And my pattern recognition on that is like, hey, something's going on here. And I really dislike it. I think it disempowers people. I'm a millennial, sort of an older millennial. I'm 35. And I went to Stanford and Stanford Law School. They're supposed to be like really good schools. Well, most of my peers who went, even to Stanford Law School, and now in my age cohorts, they're probably 34, 36 years old, in between there. Most of them are not married. Most of them do not have children. Maybe they've even convinced themselves they don't want children, although I think secretly they tell you, no, they do. They just feel like they're not on track, right? And most don't feel like they're ever going to be able to afford a home, which is really crazy. It's this startling inversion of the American dream. And so I have a huge problem with that, and a society where even if you go against the culture and you get married and you save and you want to have a family, okay, now it's time to buy a house. Well, oops, even if you offered full cash, there's someone from China, someone from California, or maybe it's BlackRock, a multi-trillion-dollar asset manager, coming in to offer $150,000 over asking, all cash, and they're going to own the housing stock instead of normal hardworking Americans that are supposed to save and have a place to put down roots. I think that's really dystopian. And so I think it's a problem to get out ahead of now, because you want people to be able to own their property, take pride in where they live. And that's just, it seems very American to me, and it seems like we're losing it.